Greetings, viewers, and thanks for joining me today. Looking at the Lexus, got her propped up on some blocks and boards, but the back wheels are chocked and it's in park, so it's not going to go anywhere. Got some underneath work to do on it. I think I can do without raising up the back. Now, I got the exhaust ordered and here for it. I am not looking forward to removing the old, that's for sure. You can really see how rusted together it is there. That's disgusting and awful. And the other side doesn't look any better. But that's all right. I can cut it apart as long as I can preserve the surface against the catalytic converters. And who knows, once I grind the bolts through, I may have to drill them out. I'm going to try to cut them off with a cut-off wheel or a grinder first. This down here has been repaired. It's obviously been repaired a couple times. It has started leaking and getting a little noisy, so that's why it's getting replaced. I'm sure I can get that bulbed out back there. The clamp's made into the pipe. My buddy changed his out. He said it wasn't that bad, but he didn't have near this number of miles that mine has on it. So anyway, going to get to that. While I got the exhaust out, I'm going to look at that drive shaft because I think the center support bearing in this that has actual metal universal joints in it is having an issue because this has those rubber rag joints on the ends. I don't know if I can even get, yeah, you can kind of see it up there. A lot of vehicles use that, and it's really nice for vibration isolation. I don't think those are bad, but I think that carrier bearing's giving me a little shimmy. So let me get under here with some tools and some things to cut with and get started tearing this thing apart, see how it goes. Okay, well, first things first on this. Loving the luxury car. I'm finding more and more things out about it as I go. The O2 sensors have to be taken out of the pipe before it can be dropped down. Now they go up through the floorboard, through these rubber grommets, and it is advised that you take the seats out, take carpet back, unbolt them, and pull them through to do this. I talked to my buddy. He said he didn't take his seats out, but he just pulled his carpet back and got to them. I didn't want to do that either, so I just put a wrench on the end. It's a 22 millimeter and broke it loose. I pulled the grommet out from the floor and I just let the wire twist up and I kept untwisting it as I go. I still got the other side to do. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Take your own risk at breaking a wire there, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's plenty of wire up on the other side here of the body. And yeah, so anyway, I'll go do the other side real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's that O2 sensor. Now I don't have a socket, an O2 sensor socket or a sensor socket. So I'm just going to put a 22 millimeter wrench on that. I had to do the wrench on a wrench because it doesn't want to break loose with just the wrench on it. So let me get things set up here. I have to go up with this one. Even though I've got this up on blocks, my giant ass could stand a little bit more room here, but let me see if I can't get this one broke loose. Doing this 2 wrenches thing. If I can get in there with them. There we go. And I'll show you what I did here. Okay. Bang. So that broke loose, okay. Not bad. Up there, it's the little rubber boot. Right here. Can't really see it, but all I'm going to do here is just reach up under it with my pick and get a corner started and pull it loose. So you can stuff it back up in there. The wires are pretty big and thick, and if you've ever cut these, they're like single strand braided wires inside there, they're extra tough because of the heat and stuff I imagine that they have to endure. But anyway, let me show you how I did this, because they don't go real deep. So I curl it up till it starts to bind a little, and then I'll undo my curls up into the floorboard part. Give it another couple of twists. Give this another couple of twists. We're almost there. Another couple of twists here. Take some of it into the middle here even. Hold it, and boom, you're out. So that, to me, seems a lot less hassle than taking all the seats and stuff out. The wires don't feel kinked. You could cut that housing off. I don't recommend it. And look at them. But at any rate, it only goes in a few turns. That, to me, looks like a way better way to go about that. So next thing up, I'm going to get to cutting these bolts off with my grinder here. As far as this bolt in the back goes, I still got to figure it out. But just to show you how funny, I cleaned the rust off and there's almost nothing left. That bracket's made to the pipe. I think I can just pry it apart at this point, get that old bolt out. That's just funny, 21 years of driving in the rust belt. So let me get that off, cut this pipe out, and I'll bring it out and we'll move forward. Couple taps with a hammer and that came right out, but that's hilarious. That wasn't loose. I mean, that was still held together tight, and look at that bolt. That is freaking comedy in action right there. Since mine were all rusted and rotted, I didn't even have a chance to put a wrench on there, so I just brought my grinder under, ground those off. It's easy to tell. One, these popped loose a little bit, but you can see the ring where the old bolt, you know, where the head's gone off of it. So I got this done on both sides now with my grinder. I'm going to get up in there and see if I can't pry these pipes apart and get this out of here. Well, that wasn't bad at all getting out of there. Once I got those bolt heads ground off, it just took a couple taps on the side and both of these broke loose and dropped right down. Fortunately, they had nut and studs to begin with, or nut and bolts to begin with instead of studs. So all these popped right out, yay. This looks just like the one I had, or the one I bought. When you get down here to this end, it's got 4 pieces of the flange. Kind of see where the spaces were under that clamp. Just kind of drive something in and spread those pieces of the flange out just a little bit. And then just strike this a few times on the back with a hammer. I used a 3-pound sledge and it popped out about 5 hits. I'm going to get under there and take all those heat shields off, have a look at that drive shaft while I got this thing apart, and then I'll get that put back on, transfer my weights back over. So there's provision for them on my new pipe, and I'll have this back going in no time. So far, this is going really well. And when I'm underneath there with my flashlight, if you see the wavy in your screen, that's a cheap LED flashlight. That makes waves in my screen, something with camera frames per second and flashes on the LED. I don't know. But look at this. This is comedy, though. If I can get it in here. Watch this squeeze together. I can't really tell, but this thing is so crusty. Look at that. This just wants to fall apart. I kind of want to take all that off and see what's going on, but not really. But anyway, moving on. Well, right there I got them laid, literally one right on top of the other. They're lined up perfect in the front, lined up just the same in the back. Pipe looks identical, so this should be easy. This is the same pipe my buddy bought from the same place. He put one on the same basic car and it went right on with no problem. I put those little weights back on. The little asbestos washers crumbled all up. I just put them back on without it. I don't know that it's necessary. I did take that heat shield off and inspect my drive shaft. The rubbers on the ends are dry rotted, have some cracks in them, but my buddy that works on vehicles for a living for Toyota, says that that's not an issue. That won't cause a vibration. Sometimes it's the U-joint that goes bad. It's back there beyond that carrier bearing. I took that down. The carrier bearing is solid and in good shape. The U-joint issue, as I was investigating, is they freeze up. I wiggled that one all around in the space under the tunnel here, and it worked fine. It didn't have any play in it. I'm going to investigate that further. It's not going to be that hard to take this exhaust back out again, since it's all going to be fresh, not this one. But anyway, the only trick to going back in, since we twisted those wires on the O2 sensors like I did, if you want to do it that method, that took 9 little twists to get that out of there, 9 little quarter turns or whatever you want to call them when I was twisting it up. I'll twist that wire up 9 turns, or so to speak, and put it back in. So when I put it back in, the wires won't be bound up. So you got to remember to do that if you're going to do that. I'm going to get in there, shove this pipe under, bolt it back up. Looks like I'm going to be golden. I'll report back here in a minute. Well, that's how crappy my old pipe was. It had definitely served its purpose. A lot of rusty hardware. Put your clamp back on at the back before you put your pipe in. If you have to spread those 4 little pieces apart, squish them back first. Makes the clamp go on easier. This pipe fit in just right. Fits just right. Looks just right. All new, all bolted on. I'm going to set this up real quick and show you what I'm talking about, twisting the wire back up before you put it in. This will be all done. I did take that down and inspect my drive shaft, like I said. I didn't really find an issue with that. So let me get my tripod thing set up. I'll show you how to twist that wire back and be out of here. Okay, now if you're lazy like me and you didn't take your seats and carpet and stuff out and you did the twisty wire thing, now it's your wire's loose and hanging. It's got to go this way to go in. So twist it back quite a few turns, like about 8 or 9, like you did before with it in the reverse. Run some of it up into the fire or into the body so it takes it, and then put it in, get it started square. I missed it, so I got to get a couple of coils back on. I should have test fit this in this with the galvanized dip and everything on it and made sure they fit first. All right, I'm gonna have to chase the threads maybe here to get some of that galvanizing out of the threads, and give it one more shot here with the wire twisted up, because I'm lazy. Don't do it this way. It's probably not recommended. There it goes. I got it started there, and we'll run it up in, and see, I got it tighten there. My wire's right at the nice slack point where it should be. I'll force that little boot back up. Now you can't see it because of the heat shield. We'll put that little boot back up in there, go do the other side, and we'll be all done. So thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you want to. Check the links if you want to. Sure appreciate you. Have a great day.